So gaming communities as a whole is what shapes the direction and balance of many games that we play today, such as GTA, Call of Duty, Fall Guys, Fortnite, For Honor, Rainbow Six Siege. Community shapes the way a game is portrayed throughout its life cycle. And today we're going to talk about why I think For Honor's community is one of the most hypocritical gaming communities out there. And I'm going to start by showing you a couple of messages. So, let's get right into this little serious commentary that I've been planning on doing for quite a while. I hope you all enjoy this. So, this was shortly after the video that I uploaded about the one salty individual that I ran into in Breach, and about a good 30 minutes or maybe an hour or two after, I got these messages from this very salty individual. So, me being the helpful guy that I am, I tried to give him advice on how to deal with Hito, because the CCU made it hard to quote unquote play Turtle undefensively. But as much as people don't like to admit it, let's be honest, Hito is a very, very defensive fucking hero. And she is strong when she gets into her mix-up, because they took her hyper armor away, and you're forced to turtle. You're forced to turtle and play defensively. That's what she is as a character. She's meant to play defensively, and whenever she is able to get that attack, she's meant to keep you in that chain. So, this individual was playing Nuxia one game and just could not open me up. He did not use his traps at all. Now, I could have just heavied him throughout his traps, but he didn't even go for them. And that's on the player's fault. Now, whenever he was there, I noticed he wasn't dodging my kicks. He wouldn't fall for the feint into GB. So, I kicked the shit out of him. That's what you're supposed to do as Hito. You are genuinely supposed to kick them over and over and over until they start to move. That is the thing. It is called conditioning. That is what I do as Hito. I condition you to fear that kick. And I don't care who you are. I will let 7 fucking kicks fly on you. And if you don't dodge any one of them, I'm still going to keep kicking. But the moment you dodge, that's when I'm going to start throwing in delayed kicks and feints into GBs. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make him fear the kick. So he stayed in the next match, right? And he was playing Highlander next game. Now, you already know Highlander now is the new fucking Viking Orochi. He's basically a fucking assassin at this point with how fast his lights are. Man's played Highlander like an assassin too and tried to give me a little health, but what this individual didn't realize is, yeah, he chased me down to health and killed me, but he caused his whole team to get team wiped in the process because the other 3 idiots on his team decided to follow with and try and get the 1 kill. And that team wipe allowed us to clear off all the zones again and clear out the RAM, and all their progress has basically been reset to 0. And as Highlander's straw point, y'all know, is his offensive stance is kick into caber toss or kick into grab, or just plain kicks, you know. And Highlander v Hito is somewhat of an even matchup. It's more into the Highlander's favor now than it was before, because before you could parry Highlander's lights. Now that they're hard to parry, it's more in the Highlander's favor, in my opinion. This man wouldn't even go into offensive stance at all to open me up. Like, he tried to once, and I read him like a book. I'm like, okay, you're a Highlander. You're probably gonna feint the kick and the grab on the first one. And feinted the kick and the grab on the first one. Then I'm like, okay, he's probably gonna throw a kick. I dodge the kick. Oh, he's probably gonna try and make the kick safe by throwing another kick. And he throws another kick. So, you know, it's all about patterns. And so then I run down the health to try and stall, and he follows down to me, and 2 to 3 of his teammates come down. They all get killed. It's a team wipe. We get banner. We place in banner. Zone 1 is completely cleared. RAM is completely cleared. That man getting tunnel vision fucked over his whole team. So he then comes up to, by this point, Zone 2 is captured by the minions. And I start letting kicks fly on him, because he didn't dodge them from the last game. He did not dodge them at all. He ate every single kick. And then I got that message from him, and I said, Crow, did you get hate mail? And he's like, yeah. Like, is it from this Michael person, whatever his name is? And he's like, yeah. So, he calls me, he says I'm spamming, but the thing is, if you aren't gonna fall, like, here, let me rephrase this. If you are gonna fall for the most basic Hito mix-up, which is just letting all the kicks fly, if you ain't gonna dodge the kicks, then I have no obligation to feint them in the GP. Because I already know then and there every single one of those kicks are gonna land, and I don't need to do anything else. I could feint the kick into a guard break, and I could feint the kick into a heavy if you decide to backstep. I could feint it into the dash heavy if you decide to roll. But no, he decided to sit there and eat all the kicks, and that's part of the mix-up. You would have thought he would have caught on after the 6th kick, but he didn't. And so I then go back and forth with him saying, hey, this is what you should have done with Highlander, this is what you should have done with Nuxia. This is what you can do to help ease up the matchup between Nuxia and Hito and Highlander v Hito. But he starts getting salty and toxic at me for trying to give advice and saying that Hito has more combos. And if we're getting into a technical sense, Hito technically only has 2 combos. You can argue even 1 just because of the infinite chain. And saying that it was spam, and that I am a toxic individual, and that people like me are the reason why For Honor is so toxic. But yet this man was the one who went out of his way in 3 different... You have to go through like 3 different fucking menus to do this, to send a message to somebody on PSN. Meaning, and he did this twice. He did it to me and Crow. He did this shit intentionally. So, how am I being the toxic one, right? I'm trying to give him advice like y'all saw in the screenshots. And then that got me to thinking. It's like, you know, the For Honor community as a whole, from my experience, they're very fucking hypocritical. You have them advocating for one thing, and then legit a couple minutes later, they're advocating against it. It's like, do you not forget what just fucking, like what you just said? You're contradicting your whole self. Because that's what I've noticed. People don't like to stick to their opinions in gaming communities. Because let's be honest, in For Honor, if you have a different opinion, they like to bully you. Because let's be honest. People say, oh no, they don't. Well, I'm sorry. From my experience and other people's experiences, if you have a different opinion in this fucking community, you get like exiled. You're like the black sheep. It's like, if you think BP needs a nerf, people are like, the fuck is wrong with you? It's like, you don't need a nerf. Or it's like, if you think the LB is fine now, it's like, what? He's gutted. He's trash. It's like, I'm sorry, you can't mindlessly trade with your bash. Like, it's like, just people don't want to think in the For Honor community, you know. And it's shit like that kind of irks my gears, you know. Like, a community is supposed to bring people together, not to make them feel like shit. And don't even get me started on the competitive scene. The competitive scene is hypocritical as fuck. Like, cause like what people don't know about is Into the Fray. In the End of the Fray tournament, there was a lot of internal issues going on that people just did not know about. You had teams missing their check-ins that were in the top seeds. They would miss their check-ins by 30 minutes to an hour, and they would still be able to participate. And it's like, what the fuck is that? And then you have a team that misses their check-in by 5 minutes, they're not allowed to participate. And that got out pretty damn quickly. Also got silenced. And it's just crazy because this community as a whole is divided between console and PC. And because here's the thing with this CCU, I don't like the CCU. I I can still like and play a game, but I can also criticize it and not like where the direction the game is going. Like the CCU, I don't like it. There's only 2 good changes out of it, in my opinion. And then people, like, they think it's like, oh, if you don't like these 2 changes, then you like the whole, you don't like all of it, and blah blah blah. You're the turtles, blah blah blah. Like what the absolute fuck? You can still critique something that you like. It's like, look at movies. Movies used to be good, but now they're shit. And what the two I guess you could say communities, the PC community and the console community for Honor do is they need to come together. Because like me as a For Honor boomer, like I said, I don't like this update at all. I hate this update. And we saw what Yubi's gonna do once everybody gets their hands on Warmonger. We called this shit. Y'all fucking called this shit. Everybody called it. You can't say y'all didn't see this shit coming. A week after she's being released for everybody else, they're nerfing her corruptions and they're nerfing Nuxia's corruption. Like, everybody saw this shit coming, right? You could be a potato and you saw this coming. Like, and that shows the game is going downhill, though. It really does. They're trying to get every last bit of money they can out of this fucking game because the devs aren't even there. Original devs aren't even there anymore. I don't even count Roman as an original dev because if the other original devs were in there, Warmonger would not be a fucking thing. She would not be in the stage she is now if the original devs were there. But back to the PC and console community. The PC and console community need to come to a whole together to do what is healthy for the game. Because me as a For Honor boomer, like, I don't trust Ubisoft stats. I just don't. Because I took a social statistics class and we had to read the book How to Lie with Statistics, and it taught you how to lie statistics. And it's why I don't trust Ubi's. But on their website it said over 200,000 people have joined in ever since the CCU. And I am noticing more For Honor boomer names I have not seen in a very long time. I'm willing to suffer through this, just so that my favorite game can stay alive, you know. I can critique it where I want, because I'm a consumer. Consumers are allowed to critique the product that they consume or buy. That is what you're supposed to do. If there's a product you don't like, then critique it. Because I'm willing to suffer through this to keep the game alive, because I don't want this game to die. Nobody wants this game to die. I've put 4 years of my life into this game. And it's a shame to see the community sort of devolve just 4 years, because at the beginning, the community was very welcoming. You had of course you had the stupid honor code, which people still abide by, which I think is fucking stupid. Like, who the fuck abides by the honor code in 2020? And the community used to be welcoming, but now it's not. Like, you'll have people that's like, oh, I don't want, it's like, the skill gap's too hard, and there are just some people that are too harsh. Because what we as a community should be doing is welcoming in new players. It's like, hey, come play our game. Come join our community. Come play this game with us. Make our game bigger. Come experience these fun and amazing things in this game. But that's not the case. Look on the Reddit and all you see is complaining, and arguing against everybody. One man may think this way, then you got like 50 others bashing him for thinking that way. It's like, oh, you're a fucking idiot for thinking this way. It's like the man's just posting his opinion on Reddit. Read it, offer constructive criticism. Why you don't think that way that man does, or woman, or toaster, whatever they are these days. And then move on. And try to respect their opinion. Because every man, woman, and child has a different opinion. And we as human beings need to do our best to respect those opinions, because I'm sorry, not everyone's going to think the same way you do. I'm not going to think the same way you do. We might have similarities, but I'm not gonna think the exact same way. Then it does sadden me. It really does. Because the hypocrisy in this community is large. It's big. It's really fucking big. Look, the main example or area I want to see is look on r/For-Honor rants. That's where people sometimes rant about the most biggest issues, while others rant about the smallest issues. And on both those big and small issues, you got people constantly bashing each other. And as it, like, think about what that's gonna look like, because here's what some people do. A smart person would go, if they want to say Rainbow Six Siege, they want to go into Siege. A smart person would go to Reddit to see what people think about the game. And if you really, really want to see how much of a bad state or a good state the game is in, check out the rant section of the subreddit. You get to see how people really feel about the game. That is where people's emotions are let loose, and all form of critical thinking is sometimes gone, which in the For-Honor community's case is a lot, because you got people in the game like old boy who sent me the hate mail. It's like, do you not realize what just happened last fucking game? Like, you think I'm not gonna remember that? Like, because it's like some people are just stupid, they don't remember. They need to be held accountable. It's like, if I sound like a hypocrite to y'all, call me out on it and explain why. Because normally when somebody is a hypocrite, they can't tell. But just to sum it all up, the For-Honor community is hypocritical, and the console community and the PC community, they need to come together as a whole. They need to come together for best for the game, because you have PC content creators and players thinking one way, while you have console players thinking the other. You have the case where the majority is outweighed by the minority, in the case of the CCU and many other issues. And as a community, what the For-Honor community, what we should be doing is welcoming people in, trying to learn, because that's what we do in our group. If we see you solo queuing and you ain't being toxic and just being an overall dick and not rage quitting, we'll invite you into our group and we'll teach you what we know, because that's what, as a boomer of a community, you're supposed to do. You're supposed to welcome them in and teach them the things, because little Billy Bob Joe the Third might not know what an option select is. You have some players who are rep 300 and don't even know what an option select is, or how to use it, and they're just taught about it that day, and their whole world is open up and stuff that they can do. But the thing is, though, too, I'm trying to think about how I can say this is like toxicity in communities as well. That's normal. But For-Honor is also toxic, but it's mainly the hypocrisy, about said hippo, is what gets me. But like I said again, to wrap it all up, as a community, we should be welcoming each other with open arms, and doing our best to educate other players on issues, and just to overall have fun. Because whether you like it or not, this game is going to die eventually. The community as a whole is what drives how fast a game can die and how long a game can survive, along with the developers. The developers might fuck over an update, but you might have the community remaining strong to keep that game alive. And that's what it ultimately comes down to, is the communities. Currently, right now, the divide between the console and PC community is too fucking big, and the hypocrisy between both of them is too fucking big. And it needs to lead to a lot of people doing a lot of self-cleaning, if you know what I mean. Seeing, it's like, do I really, really want to waste my time on this? Then I gotta think, it's like, okay, what's going to be better for the game as the whole? This might be good in the moment, but how is this going to affect my game, and how long it is going to survive in the future? So, with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this little commentary. Let me know how it goes, and if there are any topics y'all want to talk about, let me know in the comment section below, and I will do my best to make a commentary video about this. So if you like what y'all saw, don't forget to subscribe for more, and I will see all you beautiful and wonderful seal babies in the next one.